Right now, you believe you're reading this. You believe you made a choice to be here. You believe there is a you behind your eyes, watching, deciding, experiencing. But what if that feeling, that sense of being a self, is the most elaborate lie your brain has ever told you? Not a metaphor, not a philosophical game, a genuine, testable, scientifically supported illusion. You have never met your brain. Think about that. That organ doing all your thinking, feeling, and deciding. You have no direct access to it. Everything you call yourself is a report, a summary, a story your brain writes and then hands to you. And you read it and say, yes, that's me. Neuroscientist Antonio Damasio spent decades studying patients whose brain injuries destroyed their ability to form emotional responses. What he found shattered the idea of a unified self. These patients couldn't make decisions, not because they lacked intelligence, because the story had broken, the narrator was gone, and without the narrator, there was no one to be. Your brain is not giving you reality, it is giving you a model of reality. Right now, the light entering your eyes is nothing but photons. The sound reaching your ears is nothing but vibrating air molecules. Your brain takes this raw, meaningless input and constructs in real time an experience you believe is the world. You're not seeing a chair, you're seeing your brain's best guess about what chair probably is, based on everything it has learned since the moment you were born. This is not poetry, this is neuroscience. Cognitive scientist Anil Seth calls this process controlled hallucination. His research at a University of Sussex demonstrated that what you call perception is actually your brain's predictions about the world, constantly updating by incoming data. When the predictions are confident, you barely notice your senses at all. You just experience. When the predictions fail, when you see something that shouldn't be there, your brain scrambles to receive the story. That scramble is what you call surprise. Now, here is where it gets strange. If perception is a story, what about memory? You do not replay the past, you reconstruct it. Every time you remember something, your brain resembles the memory from fragments. Some real, some bored, some invented without your knowledge. Psychologist Elizabeth Loftus proved this in some of the most uncomfortable experiments in modern psychology. She planted entirely false memories in her subject's mind, memories of being lost in a shopping mall as a child, of spilling punch at a family wedding, and the subjects not only believed these memories, they embraced them. They added details, they felt the emotion, they were certain. They were wrong. This means the story of your past, the one you use to explain who you are, why you behave the way you do, why you love the things you love, is partly fiction. Not all of it, but enough. So, what about the present? Surely, right now, in this moment, you are real and you are here. Your brain is running approximately 86 billion neurons firing in patterns you will never consciously access. The decision you think you are making right now was already initiated in your brain, unconscious hundreds of milliseconds before you become aware of it. Neuroscientist Benjamin Libet demonstrated this in the 1980s, and it has been confirmed and expanded upon with modern brain imaging. The moment of awareness, the moment you feel like you chose, comes after the brain has already begun moving. You are not the driver, you are the passenger who has been told after the fact that you decided to turn left. This should disturb you. It probably does, and your brain is already working on a story to explain why it doesn't really mean what it sounds like. That's what it does. It protects the narrative. The self, as you experience it, is a post-hoc editor, an author who reads the rough draft of your neural activity and rewrites it into something coherent. Something with a hero, something with a reason. Because a world without reasons is terrifying to a brain that evolved to predict threats, find patterns, and survive. A sense of self is not a luxury, it is a survival mechanism. Your ancestors did not need the truth, they needed a story fast enough to run from a predator. And so your brain learned to build one, a protagonist, a continuous thread of experience stretching back through years of memory, forward into imagined futures, all anchored in this present moment. It feels real because it works. It keeps you alive. It keeps you choosing, connecting, acting. But here is the counterintuitive twist that changes everything. Knowing the self is constructed does not make it less real, it makes it more interesting. Because if the story can be built, it can be revised. If the narrator is not fixed, then who you are is not fixed. The rigid identity you protect, the version of yourself you feel trapped inside, that too is a draft, and drafts can be rewritten. Research in neuroplasticity, campaigned by scientists like Michael Merzenich, confirms that the brain physically reshapes itself in response to new experiences, new thoughts, new habits. The architecture of your story changes with you. The narrator learns every time you choose to respond differently than you have before. You're not just acting out of character, you're revising the character. So, right now, you believe you are reading this. You believe you made a choice to be here. And maybe that belief, that you, the reader, the chooser, the one deciding what to do next, maybe that belief is exactly the right story to tell. Not because it's the whole truth, but because it is the most useful one your brain has ever written.